Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's Resto, and in today's video we're going to be covering the 20 Twink Restoration Druid. As per usual, we're going to keep this video short and sweet and to the point. Like all the other guides and future guides to come, these guides are going to be tailored to wargaming, as it's not worth promoting pugs over on retail in its current state being a one-shot fest. However, if you still are into that degenerate behavior, don't worry, stand by. I still will show the pug information. The stat priority for the Restoration Druid is going to be crit, haste, verse, a little heavier on the verse and prioritizing haste over crit, and a dash of mastery. You want to shoot for that 10% margin with your mastery just because it doesn't scale as much at level 20, but it does help with your hot amount. With the amount of hots that you have on your character, this increases your healing. The gear that you see on the screen right here is exactly what I wore in the gameplay, and we have no restrictions on the Restoration Druid outside of banning shred, so this is honestly the same exact gear that I would wear into pugs as well. Same gems, same everything. I honestly wouldn't even worry about Shadowland gems. On the topic of gems, if you're looking at the wargame and pug scene, you're looking at Brilliant, Ornate, Ruby. Now when it comes to the Shadowland gems, like I said, this is completely up to you. I personally wouldn't run them, and if I were to run them, it would only be the speed gem, and if you're going into the clusters, I would prioritize the mastery clusters. And the reason why I say this is the Restoration Druid does not have as strong as a healing output like a Disc Priest, so you're going to want as much assistance as possible. Queuing into the Shadowland gems, you're taking away from that intellect, which overall takes away from your healing output. When reviewing the talents, this right here is what I currently run. If you guys want to do any amount of healing on the Restoration Druid, you have to spec into Cenarian Ward. This spell paired up with Wildwood Roots, the other talent that's at the very end of the tree, is going to help with your Cenarian Ward, not only increasing its duration but lowering its cooldown, allowing you to put more Cenarian Wards out onto your team. And then lastly, as far as professions go, you're looking at leatherworking for the leg enchant and inscription for your shoulder enchant. When covering the gameplay for the Restoration Druid, this is by far my favorite healing spec to go into when it comes to playing in a Warsong Gulch. You are objectively one of the best O healers there are in the game, and this is solely due because of your damage output. The healing output that you can also do from a Restoration Druid is insanely good as well on a single target, but because you have a lot of hots that you can spread out through your entire team, this makes real good sustainment when going on an O push. Like I mentioned before, Cenarian Ward is going to be your greatest heal, so you want to make sure you are casting it. This is something that you have to predict ahead of time because you don't want to cast it on just anybody, as this is going to be a lot of healing output, so if somebody's taking minor damage, it's basically a waste. This is really good if you want to put it on somebody that's about to dive into their backline, or if they're being focused on the enemy team. A good rule of thumb when playing the Restoration Druid is making sure you have your hots on. By that I mean you want at least minimum 2, so you want your Rejuve and your Regrowth, or even Life Plume. These are 2 hots that are going to last the longest. Everything else is an additional boost to your healing. If your team has real good sustainment or they're not taking a lot of damage, by all means feel free to toss out a couple of Star Surges or even some Moonfires to help your team kill the enemy team. A typical rotation when going on to an O push, ideally you're paired up with someone that is in stealth. However, that's not always the case, so you're going to get yourself into position as your team approaches. You're going to open up with a Rake on preferably the kill target, following it up with a Star Surge, and then assisting your team with hots as needed, spreading out your damage as you go. The skill cap for the Restoration Druid is honestly a little bit up there just due to the rotation and the amount of things that you have to maintain while playing the class. I have seen both performance in pugs and in war games, and I will tell you right now, if you do not follow the simple rule of thumb of having your hots and just following this talent build, you will not succeed as a healer. Outside of all of that, that is the basics to the Restoration Druid, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, go ahead and drop that in the comment section below, and I will do my absolute best to answer those questions. So if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you really like to give it a favorite, commenting is free as well as subscribing. It's been Resto, guys. See you guys next time.